Hey there, eccentric entrepreneurs. This is Taylor Elwood, your business wizard at ImagineYourReality.com. And today I want to talk a little bit about the importance of taking the time to understand the tools that you're using to market your business with. So recently I went through a change where I decided to stop using MailChimp and start using ActiveCampaign. And actually what I did is first I tried out ActiveCampaign and another tool called ConvertKit, another email marketing service. I didn't really like ConvertKit. I think it works great for some people, just didn't work for me. But I did like ActiveCampaign. And so once I decided which one I wanted to use, I signed up for a webinar on how to, learn more about the different features of ActiveCampaign and took the webinar. And then what I did is I started actually trying some things out. Like, for example, I sent out a campaign yesterday where I basically indicated to people, here's the link to the latest podcast. If you missed it, you can click on it here and listen. And I used that as a way to determine if people were or weren't interested in actually getting information about the podcast. And I'm going to do some further experimenting with this. I'm going to kind of use this as a way to kind of get a sense as to what people, as a way to kind of see what I can do with this tool. But the point is that I find that it's really important that when you take on a new technology, you really take the time to learn about it as much as you can. And let me be honest here, I have in the past made the mistake of signing up for a technology that could help my business, learned the bare minimum for it, and then not used it very effectively. Because really, the bare minimum usually isn't exactly what you need. The bare minimum lets you get by, but when you don't get the results you're looking for, you start to get frustrated, and you're like, well, why isn't this working? Well, the reason it isn't working is because you're not using it to the full capacity that you could be using it. So I think it's really important to do a couple things when you're learning a new technology. First, take the time to actually sign up for the webinar, the onboarding webinars for that technology. Usually any service will have some type of introductory session, and if you can't go to the session live, you can always look at a recorded session and get the information from that session. Take the time to do it. Even if you think you know the features already, do it anyway, because you may learn some things that you didn't know. And then the second thing to do is really spend some time actually exploring the technology. When I decided on ActiveCampaign, I spent a good chunk of the day on Monday just going through the various tabs, trying different things out, getting a sense of what worked and what didn't work. And then I went to the webinar, and that way I already had questions for the people, because even though it was it was very much a basic welcome to this thing and here's what you can do, they still opened the floor for questions, so that was very helpful to me. The other thing that you want to do, I'm just going to see something here. Yeah, see, I'm doing a little experimenting right there with how the camera was set up. The other thing that you really want to do with your technology too then is actually start experimenting with what it can do. So in my case, I came up with a couple quick campaigns that I sent out, and I had a specific link to a podcast episode that I had run in there. And the idea of it was really that if people clicked on the link for that podcast in my campaign, then they would get added to a tag that would say that these people are interested in hearing more news about this podcast. What this is allowing me to do is to get a sense as to who is actually interested in what I'm sharing, and it allows me to take what they're interested in and make sure that then they get more of that content. So I think it's really important that you spend the time figuring out what your tools do, because then that allows you to use them well. And I have no doubt that I'm going to continue exploring and figuring out ActiveCampaign. It's not like I'm going to figure it all out in a day. But my point is that once you start to realize what you can do and how you can do it, it really allows you to start to see what is or isn't working in your own marketing. And that kind of gives you an idea as to what you need to change. Now, the technology isn't the only thing in your marketing that makes or breaks your marketing, but the technology ideally should help you understand what your marketing is or isn't helping you achieve. And for me, being able to see the report of what people clicked on and things like that was very helpful, but also knowing that consequently I could create a very specific segment that was just for those people who are interested in the podcast. That helped me to say, yeah, I want to make sure these people are going to get a little more content because they're going to be the people who chose, who indicated that they wanted that content. And at the same time, the people who didn't want that content, well, they don't get added to the notification about it, and so consequently they'll get less emails, but that's good because it's allowing me to tailor the experience to them. And really, that's what we want. We want, with any of the technology we use, we want it to be tailored to the experience of the people. We want it to be relevant to the people who are interested in it. And so that's why I'm trying some of this stuff out. And that's what I'd recommend to any of you who want to learn how to use your technology, is really figure out what works and what doesn't work, and then go from there. Okay, folks, if you have any comments, leave those below, and if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure that you click on the little dragon icon over here to subscribe. And otherwise, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Take care.